Hey followers, this is your boy, Movie Maker Doug 55. Today I have a previous guest on Relentless and Unstoppable, and she's appearing on the channel once more. Her name is Angela Savage, and she is the daughter of racing driver Swede Savage. Hey Angela, how you doing?
Hi, Doug. I'm doing pretty darn good. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. How was your holiday season?
Honestly, it was just lovely. It was just and myself and my two kids, who are my best friends anyway. And Ted and his lovely wife came over for a little while, and we had a nice dinner. Not too many presents because we really like to remember the reason for the season. And it was lovely. It was one of my best Christmases, probably. Very very relaxed and
Good to hear. Thank you so much for this interview.
certainly my pleasure. We had fun the last time we spoke when I was down at the track. It's a little bit different when I'm a little more chill. So this is nice to be able to talk with you because I'm kind of in my own environment.
For sure. I can see the Swede Savage memorabilia behind you.
Right? Well, some people you've heard of the she shed. Well, I have a camper in my backyard where I keep my kitty cats. So instead of a she shed, I have what I call the kitty condo because my husband Scotty, he's really allergic to cats, but I love cats, and so that's how we compromised. Was I bought a little camper trailer, and I've got two kitties out here, and then this is like my little is my fort.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So, yeah, I start these with, a normal biography like list of questions. And so I must ask, where are you originally from?
I was born in Santa Ana, California. I'm originally from Southern California. I was in San Bernardino, California until I was 16, and then I moved to Laguna Beach, California. So I'm definitely a SoCal girl. I'm used to that warm, sunny sunshine and the beach. But as you know, I'm living in Indiana, the racing capital of the world, and I love being here, and I love being by Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which I see you have right behind you. I love to see that. I love being here, but I'm still getting used to the cold in the Midwest because usually in December I would be on the beach getting a suntan, but now it was what 17 degrees the other day, and I'm still getting used to the cold, but I love it. I really do love it.
So, yeah, what was your upbringing like?
Well, it was difficult. I mean, my mom, after my dad died and then I was born, my mom left the racing community. It was too hard for her. She left. She wanted a new life. So we went far away from the racing community, and she was remarried within 6 months. I was just still a baby. She got remarried, and um the gentleman she married had two young baby boys of his own. So she new family really right away. It was like the Brady Bunch, right? So there's my older sister Shelly, and Shane and Gary were my stepbrothers, and then she had her new husband Steve, and it was great for a while. But then I think he was overstressed or something, but he got into drugs and alcohol, and it got really unstable at my house. There was it wasn't a very secure place to grow up in. There was a lot of fighting and yelling, and I don't know if you've been around people on drugs, but they act weird. So it was kind of scary. When I was heading into my formative years, or my formative, what is it called? When I was becoming a teenager, is when things got really kind of crazy at the house. And I was already, we've learned now from writing that we're writing Savage Angel that I was actually born with PTSD because, as you know, my mother was 6 months pregnant with me when my dad crashed. So they've learned now that the babies actually get the PTSD too. So I was actually born a little unstable already, and then when the home environment became really unstable, it was hard for me to adjust. And then see, I ended up getting into drugs and alcohol myself when I was really, really young. So, I had a rough start since I came out of the womb. The odds were stacked against me. And like I said, I was already using hard alcohol and hard drugs when I was 13, 14 years old. And it's hard for me to even say that right now because my son is 14 years old. And to me, he's just such a baby. And I can't imagine him being where I was at his age. I suffered a lot of depression. And there were times in social anxiety. I had a hard time leaving my room, really. I just would isolate myself. And I felt really misunderstood. So, well, we had a lot of material things. When my dad passed, my mom, did get some insurance money and stuff. So we had a big house and a boat and all these material things, but the environment wasn't very stable. And I really fell into my own oblivion at a young age.
That's really tough. So you don't have to answer this next question if you don't wish, but is Dr. Steve Olvey telling the truth in his book when saying your dad passed away from a blood transplant or a blood transfusion that went wrong?
There was a lawsuit that went on at the hospital regarding just that. And they did award my mom some money because of that, which concludes that, yes, that was, he was given tainted blood in a transfusion, and that certainly didn't help. But there are other things that probably would have killed him anyway. They listed that as the official reason, and maybe it was the official reason, but there were other reasons too. He was on 100% oxygen when he died because he inhaled the flames and burnt his lungs out. And so he was on 100% oxygen, and nobody can live with that much help in the oxygen department, so he wouldn't have been able to make it. He did get a transfusion that was bad, and there was a settlement. I have paper that there was a settlement. So I had the same question until I found that paperwork. But so yes, that is true. Now, whether that was his official cause of death, I'm sure there were many, not just one. One being his lungs didn't work anymore.
That must have been a tough upbringing for you. I can relate to that to an extent. After that, I must ask, when were you first told about what happened to your dad?
Well, I was probably 6, maybe 7 years old. Don't really understand the exact circumstances around how this happened, but how I got in front of a television, and I think it was the DVD. There's a DVD called Firing, and talks a lot about the 1973 Indy 500, which was a real mess for many reasons, other reasons too. And I saw it. Anyway, I saw the crash on TV, and that's really the first time I found out. And then nobody really had warned me before I saw it. And then nobody really spoke to me enough after I saw that. Seeing that and having that realization that was my real dad that blew up like that. And of course you can see it all in the film. And then I had to realize that the dad that I thought was my dad really wasn't. My brothers, really weren't. I was too young to process all those things by myself. And I guess you could say it broke my brain. It was just too much for me to process, and I struggled a lot. I I worked very hard to be functioning, happy person in society now. It's taken me 40 years of good hard work.
That's incredible that you're enjoying your life again now with what you're doing. That's really a comeback. No other way to put it.
Thank you so much. That really does mean a lot. And it's true, I had some really dark moments in my life, and there's been more than suicide attempt, and even just some of the things that my own body through. It's kind of amazing that I'm still alive. And so I hear that, God must have some kind of plan. So we might as well get to it.
Yeah, that's really incredible. I would have to agree with you. A previous guest on my channel says that autism is an ability, not a disability.
You're just using your brain a little bit different than some of the other people are, and that might bring you to conclusions that they may not be able to come to. So it's actually a gift. The way I like to look at things, this is your gift. This is what makes you different. This is what makes you beautiful and unique in God's eyes, and the world's going to use you, because you're different. If we were just like everyone else, well, we'd just be like everyone.
Exactly. That's great. So after that, I must ask, when did you start getting into drugs exactly?
I was really, really, it was junior high. It was really, I can remember it's embarrassing. It's hard for me to talk about, but I'm not ashamed because I know I'm forgiven. But yeah, I was using methamphetamine. Yeah, speed. I was only probably 14, 15 years old. I was already using that because, see, I had such really bad depression and social anxiety and ADD probably or something. I really needed to be medicated, but I didn't know that then.
Oh.
And so I was a stimulant because I really did need some kind of stimulant, not a street drug. I was and I needed that little bit of adrenaline because I don't think my body makes it natural at that point, just to be able to get past my depression and past my social anxiety to school, because I had such a tough time in social situations. So I used drugs to get I had to just to get me to school in the morning because I was so depressed and I didn't on people and I was so misunderstood, and so that became something that I used. And then of course that's a nightmare too. And then vodka. I started, stealing the vodka from the bar buffet that people have in their homes, and I would put water where the vodka was. And so I was, not just silly drugs. I was using the hardcore scary ones right out of the gate. And yeah, it's sad. It's sad to think about that looking back, because my whole life I've struggled, but I've always had a really good heart. Just because people are struggling, it doesn't mean they're evil or bad or that their heart is bad. I've always had, it's like I actually care so much about people that it hurts. I care too much. I don't care enough. So sometimes that's hard because I'm really sensitive. So people tend to use things to desensitize themselves or whatever.
Yeah, it's really that that is very powerful to say, you know, the fact that you can kind of look back on that story and make it a story that you're proud to share, you know?